So this is a bit of a surprise. Yesterday at Nintendo's Mini Direct, they ended up announcing the World Ends With You Final Remix, a Switch port of the original World Ends With You that debuted on the Nintendo DS back in 2008. It is the very original World Ends With You, which will include updated graphics and visuals, and on top of that will also include a brand new scenario to the main story. Judging by the title of this port, I think it's safe to assume that this version of the game can almost be considered the final mix version of the World Ends With You, just considering that it does include a new story scenario. Square Enix revealed a trailer, and from the seams of it, when they were talking along the lines of new graphics and visuals, it's more so retaining the same style, just with things looking a little bit cleaner. As you guys know, this was a Nintendo DS game, so the visuals of a Nintendo DS game resized to the scale of Switch games wouldn't really look too good. And so what we have right here is the exact same World Ends With You style, just looking a little bit more cleaner. The original World Ends With You relied on two screens, due to being on the Nintendo DS. However, of course, we know that the Switch only has one screen, so how is this going to work? I would say that the final Remix edition will work similar to that of the Solo Remix edition, which was released on the iOS, and of course, knowing that the iPhone relies on one screen, it would make sense that the Switch version would work similar. It's also been said that there is going to be full Joy-Con support, so we can use the controllers with this game. We don't just have to rely on touchscreen controls. Square Enix some time ago were actually talking about bringing forward an old IP of theirs to the Nintendo Switch system, in which a lot of the people in the community ended up speculating that it could be The World Ends With You, or even furthermore, a sequel to the game itself. And I think this is what exactly Square Enix were talking about, a ported version of the game to the Nintendo Switch. Now believe me, if you guys are into The World Ends With You and you would love to see a sequel in the future, then trust me, it's extremely important that you do purchase the final remix. The thing is, the sales behind The World Ends With You didn't really go too well when the game first released. And so if Square Enix sees that there is enough support and love shown towards the final remix version for the Switch, then it's likely that Square Enix will eventually get around to making a sequel to the game, as I've talked about in the past. However, while we're on the topic of The World Ends With You, this brings me to my next point when looking specifically at Kingdom Hearts. In case you guys don't know, a brand new key art was released for Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, the World Ends With You key art 2, which is of Neku. It makes sense that Square Enix would do some sort of a new key art for the World Ends With You for Union Cross around the same time that they would also reveal the final remix version. But I think what's furthermore interesting is the fact that we got the information from PHI from Surge, who is a Japanese DJ, and the fact that he will be working on some of the music within a certain world for Kingdom Hearts 3. And the fact that his embargo allowing him to publicly speak about this information, letting people know that yes, he is going to be making pieces for Kingdom Hearts 3, was lifted around the same time as this announcement. I saw in yesterday's video when we were talking about this news that a lot of you guys were actually suggesting the possibility of that world being the World Ends With You Shibuya. Because if you actually listen to the World Ends With You's soundtrack, it does kind of have a techno-y sort of EDM vibe to it. And looking at PHI's stuff, it's definitely music that would fit the themes of a World Ends With You world. Of course know that the World Ends With You ended up showing up in Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, with Neku and the gang appearing in Twilight Town. This was the very first time that we saw a different Square Enix property in Kingdom Hearts, aside from that of Final Fantasy. And you guys will remember that at the end of the Twilight Town story within Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, Neku says to Sora that at some point they should come and visit them in Shibuya. Now, many of us have seen this very, very famous scene because a lot of us are grabbing onto the idea of perhaps maybe visiting something like Shibuya in Kingdom Hearts 3. And maybe with all this World Ends With You stuff popping up very recently, could it potentially be pointing to something? Another word that I've seen thrown around the place is the idea of Tron as well. Tron, again, looking at its themes, would definitely suit the style of techno-based EDM. However, those are only a couple of ideas I thought I'd share with you guys. Let me know in the comment section down below, guys, are you excited for the World Ends With You Final Remix? I personally have not experienced the World Ends With You completely. I do actually own it for my 3DS, but never really got around to actually finishing it, so before the release of this, I might actually decide to go back to it, finish up the game. If not, of course, I'll just jump into it on the Nintendo Switch with the Final Remix. Let me know if you guys are excited for the Final Remix and if you guys are going to be picking it up for your Nintendo Switch, and on top of that, do you guys like the idea of Shibuya perhaps being a world within Kingdom Hearts 3? Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, guys, and until next time, I'll catch you dudes later. Peace.
Hit them on the page, you'll be coming through stunning. Go dead my mouth when you suckers be bluffing. Milk crate, gaming up the bitch though. Catch me in the back playing Super Nintendo.